On this episode of the Film Optics Podcast, we're going to talk about Ezra Miller choking out one of his own fans. We're also going to talk about a little bit more Tiger King news coming our way. And we're also going to talk about the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. So let's jump in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Film Optics, where we bring you the headline hot takes of entertainment news. I'm your host, Christian, and today we will be talking about the world of film, TV, and everything called pop culture related, as always. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and my co-host, Devin. How are you doing today, man? How's your week been?
It's going. It seems like it's never going to end. Just longest week every week now.
This definitely feels like the longest week because I don't know, man. This week I've had a lot of craziness going on, just at work and what have you. But I mean, it's worth it. I'm both thankful, as I've said before, that we're able to be able to work during these trying times. But I'm just kind of glad tomorrow's Friday. We're recording this on Thursday, so it's about time. It's almost here, man, which means another week of doing nothing.
It's also Easter somehow this Sunday.
Yeah, it's also Easter this
snuck
Sunday.
Up on us.
And
we get a nice Easter surprise from Tiger King.
We do get Mr. Joe Exotic pulling through for us one last time, at least until the movie comes out. But
there's gonna be movies and shows. There's gonna be a lot to look forward to.
So, what have you been doing this week? What have you picked up any new hobbies through your quarantining?
Recently, our little friend group, we've been playing No Man's Sky. It's kind of had a revitalization. Is that a word?
Is that you and Dakota, or is that everyone? Because I mean, clearly I haven't bought it myself, but.
Started off with me and Dakota, and then Randy and Ethan got it yesterday.
How much is it?
It's like 22 something.
Is it worth it? GTA.
I'm liking it. Classic.
You had to pause. You're like, oh, it's on G. I thought you were gonna
always
say
GTA.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, well, that too. But when you said G2A, I was like, oh, Devin, watch out now. Can't be promoting that on the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean though. It's all right. But yeah, man, I've been playing some guitar here and there, and watching movies and TV shows when I can. I'm actually in the middle of sex education towards the end of season 2. It's very, very good. And I've been meaning to check it out for a while, but now is the best time as any. So
I've also been catching up on Ozark. Everyone's been raving about season 3, so I'm getting through season 2 right now.
Yeah, everyone's been talking about that. Is it worth checking out?
I really like the first season, and then just kind of put off the second season until now. But it's definitely really interesting. Definitely Breaking Bad vibes.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that
it's as the Walter White character.
Right. Everyone keeps saying that it's better than Breaking Bad. But I think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. But I mean, I feel like that's the only thing that can trump an AMC show is another AMC show. But that's just me. But before we begin today's topics, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Google Music, Anchor, YouTube, Podbean, and iHeartRadio, just to name a few. And we actually have a lot to talk about here. And we got fan questions. Well, we have a fan question, but we'll save that for later. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. But man, there's a lot happened this week.
Just a lot of randomness.
We got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to talk about. The first thing, Ezra Miller over here is force choking people, choking a woman in a video with his super long black hair and just his ever throttling rage. But I wanted to get your thoughts about this. It's
I
weird.
always thought he was a little weird. Like I felt like something was off. I keep hearing like he's got a past of some like racist things. Not gonna go into that because
Really.
I don't really know about it, but
Right.
this definitely isn't a good look. Apparently,
It's
what happened is this lady came up to him, obviously a fan, and was like said something about pretending to fight him. And then he just like took it way too far and actually choked her to the ground. It's a really weird video.
what? Yeah, no, I saw it, and, I couldn't really make out what was happening, but it was just so it was weird. He was because like, you know how everyone's like, "Oh, look at Ezra Miller checking out this person, blah, 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 blah." And it's like we got it, I mean, we didn't get it out of context, but we kind of did because we really don't know everything that happened beforehand and everything after. But obviously he choked out a fan, and that's not okay. So his career is pretty much dead. But, I just
Wonder
saw
what
it.
that means for Flash. That movie feels like it was never coming out anyways.
Well, his career is gone in a flash. So,
Apparently.
uh-oh, whoopsie. Oh, I mean, yeah, I never really cared for Ezra Miller all that much. I mean, he's kind of one of those actors that's just like there,
He was never
and
in
like, yeah,
anything that I loved, like or like really liked.
exactly. Especially with me in Fantastic Beasts. I mean, we play Credence. It's whatever. I mean, I'm kind of indifferent to it, but yeah, his it's either his career is over or he's gonna have a lot of cleaning up to do. So I
A
don't know, but
lot.
a lot, man. Well, I know you okay. So let's move on here. I know you're excited for this next story. It's amazing. You're talking about it all week. It's actually been me, but like, there's a
You've
lot
been
of
really getting into it. I sent it initially and I was like, ugly.
well, like, okay, when because when you I think Dwayne from Cinemania, he had sent it in our gaming group and he said PS5 controller. And I was like, there's no way that's a PlayStation 5 controller. That looks like a third-party controller.
Yeah.
And then, I looked online, I looked through Twitter and everything. It was blowing up. I'm like, okay, it's real. It didn't, you know, like strike me as like this is the PlayStation 5 controller known as dubbed the Dual Sense controller. They're done with the Dual Shock
Yeah, they
name. The shock has
definitely went
been
away from
of
that DualShock design and
um
towards an Xbox design.
well, and then when so Dwayne had sent it, and then I was like, okay, like, he's not gonna like post anything fake, but it just didn't. I couldn't put the dots together. I'm like, there's no way. And then when you sent it to me, I was like, okay. And um, I like. We'll get we'll talk about it here for a minute because like I like the actual design. Like it looks like an Xbox
Yeah,
controller.
it looks like it'll be comfortable. More comfortable than the DualShocks were.
Right. I will say the DualShock 4 as of right now is definitely their best um their best controller, PlayStation's best controller. Because I know a lot of people weren't too crazy between the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 controllers. There was a few different iterations there, but it looks, it still has the light bar, which is kind of, not it's moved away from the front of the controller, so like the back facing the TV, and it kind of has that nice sleek little design. I like, the form factor and everything. It looks great. I kind of wish they would have went with an offset um with the analog sticks because
Just went full
personally,
Xbox.
yeah. Well, honestly, I mean, even Nintendo's done it with the Pro controller as well,
Yeah.
and that thing has up to 40 hours of game of battery life. And even before this, I was testing them out in my hands. I was like, Xbox has obviously definitely been the best, minus the um
Original.
right, the Duke. The Duke is what people would call it. And it was like, okay, so it definitely goes Xbox One, Xbox 360, number one. Number two would definitely be the Switch Pro controller. And then it would go DualShock 4, for me at least. And I'm just not crazy about this two-toned color
Why'd they go with the
because
white? It's just so weird.
It's in I was, I was talking to people about it, and, some people I was talking to on Twitter, they're like, "Oh, like, and if you like the design, that's totally fine, but I am not a fan of number 1, I'm not a fan of how they kept the touchpad. The
Is
thing is
is that is that
completely
that big
useless.
blank white spot? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the
It just
touchpad.
looks very ugly. It looks like a big forehead.
Because PlayStation is like, oh, everyone's going to be using this for so many things on the PlayStation 4. And now it's like they can't like necessarily get rid of it because the only games that used the touchpad majority of the time were their exclusives, and the PlayStation 5 is supposed to be backwards compatible with PlayStation 3. It's really weird,
That
but
was the biggest glaring thing I noticed was just the giant space in the middle. Just didn't look
yeah,
right.
they're keeping the touchpad. I'm not too crazy about that. I wish it was just put buttons like but it is what it is there. So you have it's no longer called on the left hand side of the controller, it's no longer called the share button, it's called the create button, which it does the exact same thing. And then on the right hand side you have the select buttons barely do anything,
We need to just
but
for every controller, it should just be select and start. It's just so much easier.
yeah, or like I think well actually no it's not this that's the menu button. I do apologize with the three lines because that's like the universal um logo or sign for the menu. And I'm just I'm not a fan of the two-tone color. I'm not a fan of the white. I'm just not. I historically and it's shown, through game consoles past, I guess you can say. Black consoles sell better because they look better. I'm not saying, like black consoles can't get dirty or anything like that. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't want to get my Cheeto dust on this controller or my Mountain Dew spill, all these these stains and whatnot. But it's just odd that they went this way. And we've seen so many other mock-ups. And we saw an all black mock-up. It looks so beautiful. And I'm like, that's it. Why didn't they just the stock PlayStation controller make it black?
And I
I'm
mean, we
all
can
for
pretty much
creative.
like infer that the console is going to be white because the controller's white, right?
Exactly. And sorry, go ahead.
Have
Go
they
ahead.
shown like any hints about what the console is going to look like?
No. We haven't seen a lick about what the console even looks like. And that's what people are afraid of
I mean,
because
it's going to be
you know
white. Why make the controller
it's
white?
I feel like it's gonna be white, blue, and black. I'm not a fan of it. Usually when it comes to like, they've made, Xbox still makes white Xbox One X's, but they really don't sell as fast
I
or
remember I had
as
that ugly ass white 360 when that first came out.
yeah, it's dude. What did you had the slim, right? The Xbox has been white forever, but it's like it's so early 2000s. And I understand that like PlayStation's done it with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, but you can't find those anywhere because they don't really sell like all white consoles. Like yeah, it looks nice, it looks clean. It's like buying a pair of shoes. You get some nice all white LeBrons or Kyrie's or whoever, basketball shoes that you're wearing. It's like, yeah, they look nice. It's a lot of upkeep to keep them up. But like if you have multiple shoes, yeah, they're going to be less dirty, but it's like they're just much more prone to like discoloration, getting dirty and what have you. It just shows more. And that's not really what you want. And I know like, a lot of people out there, they take care of their tech, they clean it all the time, but you can't assume that everyone's going to do that. And I was watching Wolf Den Wolf Den Live. I'm not sure if you saw the tweet that I put up, and because they were mainly talking about the DualSense controller, and they had said, I think Bob Wolf had said it reminds him of he said it reminds him of what people thought tech was going to look like in the early 2000s. Like
Yeah.
this definitely has like iRobot vibes all over it,
Yeah, I
and
can definitely see that.
that's I was like, it looks like a mock-up. This actually looks like a mock-up. I did not believe that this was going to be the actual controller. I am so afraid of what this the shape of the PlayStation, it may be the same shape as the Xbox. Who knows? But it right now it just comes out as a color scheme. We haven't put this thing in our hands just yet, but only time will tell. I can only reserve judgment there. But I mean, if this is all white console, I might just have to pass up and wait for them to come out with an all black version because I'm just not a fan. It doesn't look that appealing. Like it looks nice, I guess, but just I don't know. There's not much else I can say about it. I mean, we can get into the dual sense of 3D audio. It has like a built-in mic as well, but I don't want to get too much into it because we do have a lot of other things to talk about. But has adaptive triggers, and if you want to read more about it, literally look up anything on Twitter. You can go to Jamatsu.com. They do a really good job with handling these articles, or just go on the PlayStation blog. It's there. So let's just move on to our next
Easter
subject.
miracle.
Our Easter miracle. The Tiger King and I is coming out on Easter, Devin, premiering April 12th. A Tiger King after show hosted by Joel McHale, and featuring a brand new interview.
Of Community fame.
Of Community, yes. Featuring brand new interviews with John Renike, Joshua Dial, and John Finley, staff Eric Cowie, Rick Kurtman, and Jeff and Lori Lowe. Oh man, they're still together. Premiering April 12th, so that will be on Netflix. I believe you said that you think this is that secret episode 8 that they're supposed to be airing.
Yeah, the thing Jeff Lowe was talking about last week.
Okay. If it ends up being good enough,
all the content, all the Tiger King we can get.
Yeah, like literally, because this thing is blowing up. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw, but I sent you that Tiger King like shirt. My friend sent that to me.
Yeah,
and I was like, "How much was it?" It was like $12. I'm like, "I need you to buy me one, like now." But it's like, do I really want this man? A shirt with this man's face on it. I'll take one of the tiger. They're the real victims here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. You want to take this next story we got here? But we got even more cat news. We're talking about cats and tigers and
this is what the people want to hear. The butthole cut.
Cats,
the infamous Cats butthole cut. I feel so bad for the VFX team. So basically, there was this article talking about how the VFX team, how much of a nightmare it was for them. They had to edit out the buttholes halfway through production. The director Tom Hooper made the team work 90-hour weeks for months at a time, which they described as almost slavery. 90 hours. That's insane. Imagine that.
I can't.
That's twice. That's over twice of our week. Oh my.
I honestly can't. I can't imagine how and why. I mean, I guess it has to be done, but I mean, somebody's got to do it.
90 hours though for butthole
you better
stuff.
Get paid overtime because I can't do that whatsoever. The money has to be like just right in order for me to say okay. Like you have to be paying me like triple or like quadruple of what I'm making originally in order to go through and edit out all these buttholes for you, just for people to stop complaining about this movie. I still haven't seen it, so
I don't think I ever will. Apparently, another part of the story is Tom Hooper demanded videos of real cats dancing to the songs, but he was unaware that cats do not dance. I just don't even know what to say there.
Cats don't dance. Dogs dance. I've seen dog dance.
Yeah, I've seen that. They do some shaking.
Yeah, do some corky butt shaking, but no, cats do not indeed dance.
I don't think I'm a fan of this Tom Hooper guy, but
I'm not either. So I mean, I want to see it to see how bad it is. It's like one of those movies, like, okay, how bad can it actually be? But at the same time, I'm not like in a rush to see this. I mean, if it somehow comes out, Black Friday and it's like a solid $10, sure, I'll buy it. But other than that, It's not going in my collection. But all right, let's move on to the next story here. We have a Superman and Lois TV series coming out, cast Lana Lang. Cast so a Superman and Lois TV series is cast Lana Lang. This comes from comicbook.com. The CW's Superman and Lois television series has casted Emmanuel Chiriqui and Lana Lang, excuse me. According to Deadline, Chiriqui will play Lana opposite Tyler uh, Hoechlin as Superman and Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane. They ordered this series. It's a drama straight to series. It'll focus on the relationships and the lives between Lois Lane and Clark Kent. So I don't know. Did you have any thoughts about this? I mean, do you watch any CW shows at all?
No, I've
All
seen
right.
some nightmarish scenes from the Supergirl show. Remember that?
I s- I saw, thanks to Twitter. Yes, I did see that. I've been like I kind of want to branch out because you know, we both watch DC and Marvel movies, but we haven't. I haven't really even dipped my toes into the Marvel TV shows that are quote unquote connected with the MCU. Complete BS because they're really not. It's like one sided. But even with the CW, I hear Arrow is very good, and I would like to check it out. But that is a lot of time and investing into those, and there are other things I would like to for then. So I'll just have to. I mean, I'll check it out. I will check it out. But yeah, this the Supergirl thing, especially what happened with her, was very disheartening as well. So I mean, I'll check it out. Why not? For the time being. But actually, sidetrack really quick for the DC. You know how DC Universe has like Titans and stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I signed up for ExpressVPN for about a month to try it out because there's a lot of shows on the UK's Netflix that you can also gain access to. And I totally forgot that Titans was on there. So I actually might start checking that out so I don't have to sign up for a new streaming service. And they got a lot of stuff on there, man. It's crazy. I highly recommend you check it out. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I will. Maybe we should get a nice VPN sponsor.
Hopefully, if any VPN, CyberGhost, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, if you're listening, we will definitely sponsor your product. But back to the topics at hand. Devin, you want to take this next one?
The Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series enlists Joby Harold as new writer. I have no idea who this is,
I don't either.
but the
This does
interesting
come
name.
really does. He looks like an interesting fellow as well. He's a very tall head.
Oh, he apparently executive produced John Wick 3, so that's good.
Good enough. And he was also writing in the writing script for Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, and he was also one of the two writers alongside James Vanderbilt for um, Transformers franchise. But hey, I mean, you got to find work where you can find work, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. That the same writer for BVS wrote Rise of Skywalker. So, and one of those
Strange.
things, very, very strange, but one of those clearly ended up being a lot better than the other. But I don't know.
This
Do you
this
have any?
I don't have anything else. I was ready to move on to
Yeah, that's
the
totally
the
fine.
devastating news up next.
The devastating news, yes, is up next. And unfortunately, since everyone knows about the pandemic that's been going on, a lot of theaters, actually pretty much every theater has been closed. But it looks like AMC theaters might be closed longer than expected. And this actually comes from what's actually, well, this one story comes from Screen Rant, the other one comes from Gossip.com. But the Screen Rant one kind of close is talking about them being closed longer than expected. But the Gossip article is talking about AMC theaters are in danger of never reopening after the coronavirus as their credit score takes because they've been taking such a hard hit
Yeah.
so it's very disheartening here,
Here
man. It's
here's the
very
thing, like, AMC is the biggest theater chain in the country, like, by far. So if they can't survive this pandemic, how is any other theater gonna survive? That's the scary part.
especially indie theaters. You got to think about them. They're going to get wiped out first. Just whoosh.
There's a chance we never see a movie in a theater again. That
There is a chance,
hurts to think about.
really does. But Bloodshot was not our last movie that we saw in
Onward
theaters.
was mine. Was that yours too?
Onward was mine as
That's a
well.
pretty good note to end on, I'd say.
I think it's a pretty good note. If theaters are closed for the foreseeable future, I think that's a pretty good note because there's a lot of people on Twitter and their last movie was Bloodshot. I
Yeah.
feel very bad. Our hearts go out to you. But yeah, man, this is something that, and again, I know we talk about it a lot on the show, but a lot of people out there saying, oh, this pandemic isn't a big deal. This is something that's real, and just because you can't see it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not there. So stay at home, wash your hands, and be safe, be happy, be healthy, as they say on the Cheerio box. As the B says on the Cheerio box, be happy, be healthy, stay at home, and wash your hands. So let's move on to a little bit more lighthearted news. So it looks like Jordan
A couple
Peele.
movies actually are looking to be pushed back. Candyman has to fall, and then obviously The Eternals is getting pushed back as well. Black Widow took its place. So
Yeah, and
more
that was
delays. It's getting like there's a lot, and we're kind of tired of talking about it because it's just depressing. But
yeah, yeah, and that's a really good point. I mean, we can go over the new Marvel release dates,
it
but
pretty much
it's
it seems
like,
like pretty much just everything just kind of got pushed back.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah,
2021 has 3 movies now, which is going to be crazy.
2021 does.
Actually, 2022
So
does
does,
as well. Yeah,
yeah. So
and we'll be lucky if we get one this year.
seriously. Oh, well, I mean, hey, Christopher Nolan's still pumping out. He's like, no, sir, we're gonna keep going. But do you think that, like, I mean, do you think there's gonna keep eventually pushing these movies back and just, whenever theaters do reopen, or do you think that they'll just pop them out for rental,
Yeah, that's what
prices that
Bob Iger mentioned. He said more movies could just skip theaters and go on Disney Plus, which is a
which
strategy
is
that they are already enacting with Artemis Fowl, which
and Onward.
seems like a good idea because Artemis Fowl I don't think was going to make a killing. So I don't think that weird Men in Black kids movie was going to make a lot.
That was like a mix between Men in Black, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. I don't even know what this movie. Like, I definitely want to see it, and I'll definitely watch it. I'm more inclined to watch it if it's on Disney
Yeah,
Plus. I
that
still have
actually
to
makes
watch
it an easy
Toto.
watch. Yeah,
Right.
I'll have to watch that as well. But yeah, it'd
Yeah.
be interesting to see if Disney does this with any other movies. I know everyone wants New Mutants to be pushed out to streaming, but I think there's some kind of rights issue they have with Fox where they can't do it. But
It was so
that would be a good
close.
movie to do it with.
Or just release it to Blu-ray. I'll buy it. I do want to see it. And there's a lot of my other friends, they want to see it as well. And they're like, put it on Disney Plus. I'm like, it doesn't feel at home on Disney Plus. For me at least. It needs to either just be out for rental, or just come out on digital. Just let people buy it. Just let people buy the Blu-ray. Be done with it. That's all we can really ask for. But yeah, I mean, the whole Disney Plus, with movies going straight to Disney Plus, do you think it would be that they would charge you a little bit more, like more of a different tier to the ones that they already have between, the standard, what is it, like $7, $8 a month, and then they have the bundled pack with Hulu and ESPN and Disney Plus? Do you think that there will be like a movie theater Disney Plus pack, like, hey, pay like a little bit extra more a month, and with all of our new movies coming out, you can watch those straight on Disney Plus. Do you think they would do something like that?
That definitely could be a possibility. I guess we'll find out with Artemis Fowl.
Like a movie tier, or I mean, they might just keep it the way it is because a lot of
They
people
could just add
have lost their jobs.
a like rental like part to the app, or like a buy movie section.
Yeah, something like that.
Amazon
Yeah.
has that.
Yeah, but we do have a little bit more of Disney Plus news here. Rosario Dawson, it will be playing Ahsoka Tano, as we've spoke about before. Her contract with Disney is for a multi-show deal.
Yeah, they're taking a page out of Marvel's
Mhm.
book. They like to lock down the actors for a few different um shows. So
I mean, it's a smart way to go about it. Honestly, I mean, you want to make sure if you find someone that's so that fits the persona of this character that you're looking for. It's like you kind of you want them to stick around. You want to give them a reason to stick around. And I think this is smart. I mean, they've done this with Star Wars and what have you, and I think it's a great idea. Lucasfilm has been investing a lot into the Mandalorian and Ahsoka, because she is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, female characters or characters in Star Wars. She's definitely in my top three. And Bob Iger announced what was it in October? It's supposed to be its premiering month for the Mandalorian season 2. So hopefully we get to see more Baby Yoda, and they're focusing more on TV right now, which I think is smart for the Star Wars franchise. But do you have any other thoughts about this?
I don't think so. We got some Eternals news with your
Yeah,
boy
that's a
Kit.
boy. Yeah, Kit Harington. My name's Jon Snow. I don't want it. I don't want it. He didn't want to be king, ladies and gentlemen, but
He will be a knight.
this he will be a knight. He will be a knight. So there are details shuffling around on the internet about Kit Harington's Black Knight production. His costume. Apparently, it is supposed to be he's
Comic
supposed to be.
accurate.
Yes, it is supposed to be comic accurate, and apparently they will be using greens or a mocap suit for his um
Which
for
they've
his
done before. Obviously, Iron Man, Spider
right.
Man, done it a couple times.
And I know there are a lot of people voicing concern, saying, it needs to be more of a practical suit. And I get it, because, John Kit Harington has pretty much essentially in a way worn the same get up in Game of Thrones. They can kind of tailor it to make it be more quote unquote more comfortable. But I mean, if I'm an actor at in these
It
days
makes
and time,
their life a lot easier, I think.
it really does. I mean, you have complete mobility of your character, and they can alter whatever they need to alter, and what they're trying to portray. I mean, I think it's fine. I mean, I don't necessarily think that VFX necessarily equals bad. There are some very terrible VFX out there, as we've seen throughout our movie watching years, but I think it's cool. I mean, as long as it looks cool, I don't really care, to be completely honest. It's just, I mean, it may seem weird, but sometimes I feel like I'm not sure if you agree with this or not, but it might just be cheaper to go the digital route. I,
Maybe.
I really don't know. I mean, maybe not. But I mean, Disney's got the money to spend, so probably not. I don't know. It's just for whatever reason, that's the way they decide to do it. So we kind of just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sticking with MCU news, looks like another Rick and Morty writer is going to be joining the MCU.
Oh, geez, Rick,
They've been scooping them up left and right.
Oh man. Wait, that was more of a Scooby thing. My bad.
Yeah.
but, but yes, Ant-Man 3 finds its writer with Rick and Morty's scribe, exclusive to Hollywood. Peyton Reed is already back as director, but we have Jeff Loveless as a writer and co-producer of the Cartoon Network. Acclaimed Rick and Morty has been tapped to the pen. Tapped to pen the script for the third installment for Marvel's Ant-Man. So yes,
I like
because
the fit because Ant-Man's kind of like the humorous, lighthearted side, and Rick and Morty writers got the humor down, so should be a
definitely,
good
and
fit.
it's gonna be a big year for Rick and Morty. I feel I'm feeling.
It's
Well,
always a big year for Rick and Morty.
it is very true. Yeah. So yeah, bring it on. Honestly, I don't have too much to say about it. I mean, I'm here for it. You're here for it. So let's just move on to our last bit of Disney news here, so we can get into our other topics. We normally try to keep all the Disney stuff together because it all goes so well hand in hand with each other. Um, apparently, Disney France lists Loki and What If for 2021, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, She Hulk, and Moon Knight for 2020. Comes from MCU.com. And it looks, I mean, that's cool. We haven't really heard too much about She Hulk, Moon Knight, or Miss Marvel since those are slated, a little bit later on. But I
It's
mean,
nice to have a year for those.
yeah, because there's a lot to watch in Disney Plus. And I know a lot of people say that, it's just like, oh, it's their nostalgia, you know, effect. They have all this nostalgia stuff on there. Could you imagine, Devin, if Disney Plus launched when it did and it only had its its brand new exclusives like The Mandalorian, High School
It
Musical, the
it
musical.
basically would have been Apple TV Plus.
Exactly. And then people would have been complaining, well, why didn't you put all your legacy titles on there, all your old school stuff? You can't win with people, and they are way better off now, and it makes more sense because when you launch a streaming service, you want things for people to watch. And I mean, I've been watching Star Wars Clone Wars, I've been watching Boy Meets World. There are other shows that I would like to watch as well. So I'm kind of bouncing back between certain streaming services, but I mean it's there and I always find something to watch on there. Whether I just want to revisit something, from my childhood or check out something I haven't really, seen before in its entirety. So yeah, I don't know. But anything else about the Disney Plus Francais, Loki, What If that you had to add on there?
I think so.
All right. Well, we have
You're the
another.
movies anywhere guy, so
Yes, I love movies anywhere. I think it is a great, a great service. And it for those of you who don't know what Movies Anywhere is, it pretty much took the place of the UV ultraviolet Blu-ray or ultraviolet digital distribution. So if you're a physical collector like me and you've noticed, like I just bought Little Women. It just came in the mail today. Absolutely love the movie. If I look on the back of the box, it'll say a Movies Anywhere title. That means if you create a Movies Anywhere title, a Movies Anywhere account, and let's say if you have certain movies on your video account or your iTunes digital account or your Amazon account, movies that you bought on there, you can essentially connect your other digital platforms to Movies Anywhere. You essentially unlock those movies on those other platforms. It doesn't work with every single title. So let's say if I go into my movies account anywhere and I type in my digital code for Little Women, and I have my iTunes account, my Vudu account, and so on and so forth, Google Play account, all connected to my Movies Anywhere account. You know, as long as it is a title that Movies Anywhere supports, it's like you pay for one digital copy and you are able to unlock and automatically unlocks that titles across all your other platforms, which I think is really great. But with this story is that Movies Anywhere has begun a beta program for their new digital sharing function, Pass. This allows users to select an eligible film from their movies from the catalog because it doesn't work with like Lionsgate title for certain studios. It's very very weird, but majority of new movies have been adopting it. So it allows users to select an eligible film, text it to somebody else, and they'll also have access to that film for a limited amount of time. So let's say if Devin didn't have my um Okay, wow. So it looks like Devin actually his internet went out. So we'll be right back as soon as we get him. All right, and we're back. Sorry about that. Devin lost internet there for a second, and I just kept rambling on about movies anywhere and looked down at my phone and he had texted me. I was like, "Oh, did I say something wrong?" And he's like, "Yo, my internet went out." And
I'm braving the storm in a
is it
book.
snowing there, by the way?
It snowed this morning and then it stopped, and now it like stormed really hard last night, and now it's like
Like snowstorm or just like an actual, just like
just like
rainstorm?
wind mostly.
Hmm. That's weird. It's been pretty quiet down here, so I don't know. It's some really weird stuff going on, man. But as I was saying before, definitely check out Movies Anywhere. With Movies Anywhere, they're pretty much bringing out a kind of like a if I buy a movie and then I send it to if I text it to Devin, he'll be able to view that movie for a little like a little like a limited amount of time. Excuse me. I cannot talk today. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so let's move on to our next story here. Did you want to take this one?
Yeah, it looks like the producers of The Office are creating a new comedy based on working from home and virtual meetings. Very timely. I guess they got some inspiration while they were zooming left and right.
Yeah. It's I think it's perfect. I mean, I actually saw it was a YouTube like gag video of how a virtual chat meeting works, but it was dealt with people, coming into an office, but they are pretending, quote unquote, that they're inside of a group chat. And I thought it was pretty funny. My boss actually showed it to me. So it's this is pretty sweet, you know.
Yeah, and we also saw some stills for the upcoming Netflix Steve Carell kind of workplace type comedy called Space Force.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
right.
also looking forward to that kind of similar vein.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And also really quick about the movie pass, the movies anywhere. I almost forgot to mention. You do get 3 screen passes per month, and this covers about around 270 movies in their library as of right now. But I believe it will be in open beta here pretty soon. So it's pretty cool. I just wanted to throw that out there. But yeah, let's move on to our next story. So Tiger King directors reveal that an A-list movie star
Think it
will
might be the
start.
guy that you were kind of looking at last week.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to get an A-list movie star in here, and who better than Brad Pitt? I don't know why. I just think that he could play Joe Exotic. He could play. It's kind of I don't know. There's just something about that man that I think he can get the job done. But I don't know. I mean, we've talked about this before. We thought this was a pretty interesting story to kind of sneak in there, but I mean, we're getting more Tiger King goodness on Sunday, so it'll be a happy Easter Sunday as we mentioned. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
I
also
mean,
an adaptation coming from Rob Lowe and Ryan Murphy for Tiger
that's gonna be
King.
awesome.
I think that's
That's what I
Rob
love.
Lowe obviously is he's kind of a weird guy and kind of good for that, but Ryan Murphy, creator of Glee and American Horror Story, seems like pretty good fit for the craziness that Tiger King is.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And we never thought that this is going to blow up, and we reviewed it last week. And people who haven't listened to it, you can go ahead and pop that in your ears and have a good old jolly time with it. We kind of just gush about the entire docu series, like the entire what 30-35 minutes. I think we went 40 with that. Actually, we had a lot to talk about that with, but I'm glad that there is something out there during these trying times that are bringing people together, and that just so happens to be Tiger King. So they're just this thing blew up, and it's here to stay at least for a while is what we're looking at. But Devin, you've seen Call Me by Your Name, right?
I have.
I have not yet anyway. But the director, Luca I'm not going to even try to pronounce that name. I'll just say Luca G. Confirms Timothy Chalamet, Army Hammer, and the rest of the cast will return for the Call Me by Your Name sequel, and it will take place 10 years after the original story. Devin, do you think you'll be checking this out at all? Are you kind of excited? How did you like the movie?
I definitely like the first one. It didn't really seem like it went well to a sequel, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I feel like the movie was so popular, and I really this is kind of like old Timmy got his big break, I guess you could say. And I mean, I definitely would like to check out Call Me by Your Name. I hear it's a good story, and I mean, I don't have much else to say about it. D.
There's a very infamous peach scene in the first one, so I wonder if they'll do some more fruit stuff in the second
Do you
one.
think the Peach will be back?
Can
Well,
only
is the Peach
hope.
coming back? Wait, what'd you say?
Can only hope.
We go. I mean, hey, it's the Peach demands a sequel. I know what you're talking about. I just haven't seen the scene myself. But we have a little bit more gaming news here for everyone. So E3 2021, the dates have been revealed, but the online experience, the 2020 online experience that everyone thought that was going to be happening, does not look like it will be. So it's very, I mean, I think this is okay. I mean, we literally watch E3 every single year, but it has gone progressively worse. And it's kind of like that old pet that you have that just is holding on. You're holding on for good memories, but I think it's time that they just kill this thing. And just everyone, all these studios, all these companies are more than capable of having their own online direct style presentations. I mean, Nintendo's been doing it for years. Everyone thought they were crazy for pulling out for GDC. We had Jeff Keighley. This is his first time within what 25 years of pulling out of E3, and he said it's not the way that it should be going. I mean, originally, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'll be ranting on for a while, but what are your thoughts?
As expected. I mean, I guess they could have tried doing something online, but it just seems like it would be tough to pull off.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think Microsoft has their Inside Xbox. It's not as good as Nintendo Directs or Sony started their State of Play, which we actually I all haven't had in a while. But I can't really say too much about E3. Like, yeah, it's sad that a lot of people are pulling out, but it's just the name of the game. I mean, E3 was mainly built for like developers, and it's mainly for market shareholders. And they when they like opened it up to the public, it used to be really hard to get in. Now it's easier, but I mean, we have PAX, we have Game Awards. There's so many other shows. I mean, Xbox, they didn't even have to, they dropped the Xbox One X during the Game Awards. You don't need your own big show conference to show off all this stuff. Is it cool? Is it a great experience? Absolutely, but it's not really worth it. And they could definitely probably save a lot of money in the long run if they just, pump them out online. Just be done with it. Save that
Yeah,
money, put it towards other things.
shall see.
We shall see.
And another
But
thing we shall see is maybe a review of an upcoming Netflix movie.
yes, Chris Hemsworth Extraction is coming to Netflix
The Russo
April
brothers. They're just snatching these Avengers left and right and making their own little movies.
they went with Tom Holland. They went with
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman. They're
They're
just
just
like, hey,
might as well knock them out while you got them.
just go through the entire Avengers cast, and they'll all eventually be their own movies. Like, we're gonna produce a movie, you're gonna be in it.
They're creating their own universe, the Russo cinematic universe.
The Russo verse. I mean, hey, it looks
It looks like it could be okay. I'm
yeah.
not crazy about it.
Like,
But
it looks like a generic action movie,
yeah,
but at the same time, it could be a lot of fun. I mean, anything's better than copying Kareem, right?
I wouldn't know.
I haven't seen it yet, so I've been watching Sex Education. Yeah, it's not really in my foreseeable future to see Coffee and Kareem, and so I actually believe. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on that, or anything else really quick before we get into our fan questions here?
Let's do it.
All right, so we do actually we only have one fan question today, but that's okay. It's a really good one. It's from one of my friends from college. Wolf of Wall Street at Trixie Nix asks, as the big name directors, Scorsese, Tarantino, Spielberg, Coen Brothers, Del Toro's recent films and projects, um, uh, do you think that they're getting worse or better than their films from 3 decades ago? Okay, so she's asking if those big names, if their projects are getting worse from 3 decades ago. She thinks that they are weaker because there's less studio interference, but she wants to hear our opinion. So, Devin, you want to start off with your opinion? Where do you think these big Kahuna's future lies? Do you think
That
they're
that is a really good question. Never really thought about that. Um, I guess I feel like Tarantino has definitely had the same quality up until now. Like he hasn't really deterred in any way from
Hmm.
his first few movies. Like I mean, I still think Pulp Fiction is the best, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a form after a bit of a weaker one in Hateful Eight.
Why does everyone hate Hateful Eight? I That movie is so
It's just
good.
not one of his best ones. It's a tough shoes to fill.
I mean, because there's the extended version on Netflix, right?
Yeah,
I think I haven't even watched it yet, but like I love that movie. But like I like more Western movies. Like I'm a big like True Grit, like 2010 fan. Like I absolutely love that movie, and I'm a big Django. You get it's honestly I don't think it gets better than Django. Like it is just so freaking good. Or Inglorious Bastards for for
yeah,
that.
and
But
those are all like the more recent ones. So I think Tarantino he definitely holds up.
yeah,
Spielberg, I don't even know what he's been doing recently.
what have the Coen brothers been up to? I totally forgot.
I don't know. They're always weird and indie.
Y- yeah, I mean,
Scorsese, I mean, we didn't love The Irishman, but it was still quality.
it's quality, but Jesus, dude, it's so long. Like 3.5 hours. Like I sat here and I was in a Netflix party with my buddies over at Music City Drive-In. Go ahead and check out their podcast as well. But we sat there. We've been doing movie nights every Saturday night. This past weekend was Hot Rod, and I actually never saw Hot Rod. it
Oh, it's a
was
classic.
it was hysterical. Absolutely loved it. But the week before that, we saw The Irishman, and I was tuning in for a while. I was tuning in and out, but it's just so hard to sit there. I don't think The Irishman is like a good Netflix like watch party, but we did it and we had fun with it. We chatted on the side. But to answer Trixie Nix's question here, I would say yes and no. Like you had pretty much said, it pretty much depends on the director, because out of these five that she's mentioned, Scorsese, Tarantino, Spielberg, Del Toro, I do like Del Toro. I feel like he is a little bit um, hit or miss. I never saw Gravity. I think he directed that. That was Del Toro, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I could. Oh, I might be thinking of somebody else. But I would say Tarantino still at his strongest. It's been a while. Well, even with Scorsese, I think he's doing pretty good as well. Because I mean, what was his biggest movie before The Irishman? Was it Wolf of Wall Street? Was that the last one he made, or did he make something else in between Wolf of Wall
I
Street
think
and
there
The
was one.
Irishman?
I think there was one in between, but Wolf of Wall Street was definitely the big one.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, to answer Trixie's question, I think it depends on the director. Spielberg, I have no freaking clue what he's doing. As you said, Devin and Coen brothers, where are they now type deal. Del Toro's kind of like a 50-50, but um I know a lot of people didn't like The Irishman. I mean, I have my favorite parts within The Irishman, but I definitely think that should have been a Quibi. That
Quibi.
definitely should have been a Quibi. It should have been on Quibi. That would have went forever. Well, 10
Yeah,
minutes at a
it's like
time.
100 Quibbies.
But I feel like they shoot them to where, they're purposely, building up suspense every 10 minutes. But if they did with the Irishman, I think it would have been cool. But yeah, that was a really good question though. That was a very very good one. But yeah, I would say they are kind of showing their worst films, but it's kind of like you can't expect every director to make hit after hit after hit after hit. That's like asking an artist like I need every single one of your albums to be on like the top Billboard charts. That's just not going to happen. Sometimes you know some movies work out better than others, and that's just the way it is. But I do believe that wraps it up for this episode 10 of Headline Hot Takes here on the old podcast, I believe. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. And again, Trixie, Nix, thank you again for that question. And as always, Devin, thank you for coming on. I know I say that every week, but I really do mean it. And so I believe, since we'll give everyone a little taste of what we're cooking up this week. So instead of doing a movie review, we are actually going to be reviewing the streaming platform Quibi. And so that just came out. Me and Devin signed up. You can too for a free 90-day free trial, which is actually very, very generous of them. To get the word out, get people to, start watching and talking about this new streaming platform. And all their episodes are 10 minutes or less. So if you're on the toilet or if you're kind of bored in between, 10, 15 minutes at work, watch a Quibi.
Yeah.
Quick Bites, I believe that's what it's short for. But we will be reviewing that. That will be coming out this Sunday. So check out that. And then I believe our last review was Tiger King. So you can go ahead and listen to that. That's already out on the pod and what have you. But Devin, do you have anything else you wanted to say to our lovely viewers out there?
Stay safe.
Stay safe, stay healthy, be happy, and be healthy. Wash your hands as well. And as always, you can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, YouTube, Podbean, iHeartRadio. We will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.